My bad. Yesterday this was supposed to be up. Yeah, sleep schedule, long story, instantly shortened. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking on the first dungeon of the game, quote unquote. It's more of an over-glorified tutorial dungeon, I guess if you really want to be specific, it is kind of a dungeon. But yeah, so this dungeon is going to be introducing a couple of new items to us. Obviously, it's going to introduce us to the standard items that you're going to get in your in the dungeon, being the treasure as well as the map and the compass. You also, in this specific dungeon, you get introduced to two specific consumables, this one being one of them, the Deku nuts. They kind of act as like a flash grenade. If you throw them on the ground, nearby enemies can get stunned, and that's about it. So it's not really worth using, and as far as I'm aware, the stun doesn't really last long enough to be really relevant. You probably won't ever see me use them, but we do pick them up because why not? So, fun thing here, this web has a little bit of a hitbox, and if you walk across it, you'll get Navi to continuously say, hey. Apparently in the original, there was a soft, or not a soft, but a sweet spot where you could actually get her to continuously say it over and over again, like over and over again without having to move. So, I don't know. I have never tried that myself, and yeah. So, as you can see, giant treasure chest. Obviously, this indicates something that's very important, which in this case is going to be the dungeon map. The dungeon map's kind of here to kind of just say, okay, here's every part of the dungeon, so you can kind of see where you're going. And here we go with Navi. This is, of course, going to be less of... I use the word less very lightly here. Shut up, Navi. We already know how to open doors. Like, seriously? But yeah, she's going to be really annoying here. She's already, even in the middle of a fight, let's be real. We already know how to kill one of these things, and of course that requires the Deku shield. So that way we can kind of bounce the Deku nuts that they keep shooting at us back at them. So yeah, and he kind of talks about how you can roll if you jump from a certain point. If you jump too high, then it may not work. So of course we're going to get to that chest here in a second, but for the people that probably didn't even notice this was here, should they actually need it, you can get a little recovery heart here if you really find yourself needing to get some health back. So here we're going to be getting the dungeon treasure. Yeah, the dungeon treasure, which happens to be the fairy slingshot. At least this gives us a little bit more range than the butter knife. I mean, let's be real, and we're going to equip that instantly. And just because, I mean, who knows, we might actually use it, and probably not. But yeah, so you kind of need it in order to get out of here, and as I said, there's another consumable which happens to be Deku seeds, which is basically just the slingshot, just because the slingshot actually uses ammo, so not much you can really do about that. But yeah, and I don't know why, but it feels like there's a little bit of lag while I'm recording the commentary here, but if there is, then my bad. If not, then it's just, you know, Camtasia being stupid. So easy kills, you just use the slingshot on those and it just instantly kills them. So we are now able to safely make our way up to the second level here. I guess you can call it the third, considering we had to climb up, then we had to climb up again. So, I don't know. Up here there's, I think, like 4 areas like this. You saw one there, there's one here. All of them have Skulltulas next to them, so you obviously have to kill them in order to get through. But that's not relevant just yet. We have this room to cover as well, which is going to be, as you can see over there, there's another giant chest. Spoiler alert, it's the compass, which allows you to find items and shit. It also does introduce these to the game, which are gold Skulltulas. If you get enough of them, at some point you will be able to kind of unlock certain things, whether it be a larger wallet or heart pieces, stuff like that. So it's kind of recommended that you pick them up. You don't really need to pick up every single one in order to get the best freebies out of it, but if you want to complete the game just to have 100% completion, then I mean, like I said before, I don't really know if we're going to be doing all of them. We might. I think that we get just about every single one in here except for one, which we can't get until much later in the game, but what can you really do about it? So, like I said before, I kind of already spoiled this. This is going to be the compass, and of course, again, kind of useful with the whole, you know, oh, you can see hidden whatever, so it doesn't really matter. I've played this game a good many times to kind of remember where a good chunk of things are. So, yeah, as you can see, the door is still locked. What you need to do is you need to get some fire from that one torch and light this one in order to unlock the door. Then you can just slash and make sure that your stick doesn't burn up, which is fun, I suppose. So, as you've noticed, there's really not much else in the area that you can see that we need to kind of, get to. So, the reason for this is because they're going to kind of teach us a little bit more here. As you can see, there was nothing else there. What you need to do is you actually need to jump, which is going to add enough force under you in order to cause that web to break. So, yeah. And can we please hit this thing? Thank you. That was annoying. As I'm sure you can hear in the background, you can hear that like repeated sound. That's, if you hear that sound, then you know for a fact that there's a gold Skulltula around. So obviously it's something it's worth looking for, so that we can get enough to at least get the relevant freebies. I mean, again, you will be getting a larger wallet as well as a heart piece at a later time. I like how he just froze in mid-step there. That was fantastic. So we're gonna just get our slingshot out here, and now that it's dead, let's hope we don't miss it. And we don't. That's good. I can't tell you how many times I've kind of just tried to jump for it, and then Link would just suddenly decide to turn in a different direction and say, I'm not going to get that, I'm just going to go over here and, be cool. So we need to get fire again. This is kind of recurring, like a recurring thing here. And we need to burn these webs, which allows us to go into this room. If you don't burn the web, you can't get through. This room's kind of easy. It's just another Deku shrub that you have to kind of, knock out of his safe zone and kind of tag him. And he tells us that we can't get past his brothers without knowing a special number, which is going to be 231. You do not have to really write this down. I mean, it's the same in pretty much every copy of the game as far as I'm aware. Okay, Navi, please enlighten us of how we're supposed to dive when all we have to do is jump in the water, and it says A to dive. Just saying, I don't think you really need to inform us of that. Maybe the fact that you have to, you can only be underwater for X amount of seconds, and, I don't know, and great, it's all the way over there. So now we're probably going to miss it, and that means we have to sit over here and wait, because we can't just grab a hold of it for some reason. So as you can hear in the background, there's like a tick-tock sound. That's because this switch, like the one in that other room that we were in, is on a timer, and eventually it will wear off. And this one specifically lowers the water level, so you don't get completely screwed by that one thing. And I like how my screen started like wigging out for me. I don't know if it's actually how but if it's in the actual recording, I can't really do much about it. I don't know what is causing it, but yeah. So now we have to wait for this thing to come back over here, and at least we didn't fall off. You probably shouldn't fall off, but I mean, if you do, then I mean, I really don't know what to say, but whatever. And we have another Skulltula here that we just shoot it with a slingshot. Of course, I'm stupid, and for some reason I thought that would work, but sure, why not? And let's just try it again. And okay, good. Shut up, Navi. I swear this. Can we please just light her on fire? Can we just do that, please? This is going to be annoying. That's the only drawback to this game, really, is Navi just constantly nagging you. But, I mean, whatever. Again, this is a dungeon that's basically a really glorified tutorial as to how to move things, how to press switches, how to dive, how to open doors. Like, we just don't know how to open doors. This is an easy room, by the way. There's a bunch of, like, Deku Babas and stuff in here, so you just kill that and you can get some free Deku sticks and stuff. This is because you need to light those other 2 torches in order to unlock the door. I mean, we haven't already done that, so why... I don't understand why they had to reteach us this, but whatever, I guess. Now let's just kill this thing, get some free ammo if we really needed it. I don't really remember if we needed it. So this room is very peculiar. If you go into the middle of the room, you're going to allow some Goma eggs to fall down to the floor, which kind of can be a huge problem. You can do 2 things. You can either avoid the middle of the room, or you can get out your slingshot and shoot them down, so that way you don't have to ever deal with them. Otherwise, it can just be kind of problematic. As you can see here, there's a wall with like a whole bunch of cracks and stuff. We can't really do anything about that. I don't know if burning it now really does anything for later in the game. I don't really remember it anyways, but regardless, burn it just to show it. This is the one you want to burn, however. The other one, for anyone who doesn't give a shit about spoilers, if you care, then I guess you can mute for about 5 seconds. You can get another gold Skulltula behind it, so, but we can't get bombs just yet, so something that we have to also put off until later on in the game, assuming that we actually 100% the gold Skulltulas. So, not much that we can do about it right now. And more pushing, hooray, even though it's slow. I honestly don't understand why Link couldn't pick up like a blade of grass, but he can push these around. I don't really understand, but whatever. So, again, burning, you know, spider webs kind of a thing here. But, yeah. So we're basically at the end of this dungeon here. As mentioned before, there were 3 brothers, and the order here is 2, 3, 1. So if we don't get completely like bopped by the Deku nuts here, so we got 2 and 3 done. So all that's left is 1. Now you've noticed that I've been rolling into these things. If you don't roll, well, okay, you don't have to roll particularly, but if you don't like roll and like towards them, they're going to start bouncing around trying to avoid you, which is always a pain in the ass, and then you have to try and corner them and catch them. If you do the like rolling thing, it's, you know, kind of just easier. I like how my screen is again bugging out. But anyways, we're in the boss room. So yeah. As you can hear, there's another sound in the background. Yeah. And it's still kind of buggy for me for some reason. Anyways, this is the first boss of the game, the parasitic armored arachnid known as Goma. And as I mentioned before, there were Goma eggs. The way that you deal with this boss is you use a slingshot to shoot it in the eye whenever its eye goes red, and then it's going to kind of collapse, obviously, because, you know, getting shot in the face with something by a slingshot, more specifically your eye, is going to be very painful. So after you hit it a few times, it's going to go back to the ceiling, and its eye is of course going to turn red, which is an indication that you need to shoot it with the slingshot again. And then once it falls down, you just, you know, stab it a bunch of times. Now, the way I'm doing it is actually the more efficient way, because you actually attack a lot faster and you can get in a lot more hits. So if you want to kill this thing in basically one cycle, I guess, because if you want to count it going up to the roof and then coming back down, that being one cycle, that's probably your best bet to do it. So with that, we get not only a heart container, but we also get the first dungeon, quote-unquote, done of the entire game. And then we get a little bit of a backstory, which I guess we can kind of, you know, we're going to be getting to in a matter of seconds anyways. So, because once we get done with the dungeon, we get teleported outside, and wow, that truck was very loud. I hope he wasn't speeding like through this area. There's a lot of trees and stuff. Go figure. And yeah. So, I don't know if people have noticed this. You're probably going to notice this a lot more maybe later down the line. There's a lot of yes and no answer question type of things in this game, and it's not, I don't know, I can't really remember off the top of my head how much was in games like Majora's Mask, of course, but there seem to be a lot of them, and the games have received a bit of negativity for it, but anyways, here we go again with more evil and vile stuff. For anyone who does, again, spoiler alert, this is Ganondorf, the evil, you know, conniving boss of the game, the final boss that we're going to obviously have to take care of. What he is currently in search of is known as the Triforce. Well, more specifically, he wants to find the Sacred Realm in order to get to the Triforce. The Sacred Realm was kind of a place where, okay, there is 3 goddesses. There is Din, Nehru, and Feror, as you can see, as you know, he's kind of explaining it. They were basically the origins of not only just the Triforce, but the world as well, entirely, as again you're going to see. Once they had done everything that they were going to do, they had all left at a specific point, kind of like imagine like 3, you know, goddesses moving towards a single point and then disappearing. Where they left off was, I believe, what created this Sacred Realm. I'm not entirely, like, all I know is that I really enjoy this game, okay, let's be real, I don't understand, like, everything about it. But as far as I'm aware, that's the area where the Sacred Realm is, or can be found, and within the Sacred Realm you can find the Triforce, which is what Ganondorf is looking for. And if I'm not mistaken, there are, I guess you can say, keys in order to get into the Sacred Realm. And you obviously, like pretty much every Zelda game, you're gonna have to go around collecting stuff to get into things and let things out, and then the world goes to chaos, and yeah, we're gonna just have to deal with a whole bunch of that. As he's mentioning now, as they departed, you know, a golden sacred triangles remained at the point where the goddesses had left the world. So, yeah, I mean, this is exactly what Ganondorf is trying to find, and has become the Sacred Realm. So, yeah, like I said before, it's basically what's going on right now. The man in black armor lay his hands on the sacred, whatever. And I like how Link's just casually just sitting here on the ground, like, yeah, don't mind me, man. I'm just relaxing after kicking that boss's butt. Because it took a lot of effort. And he looks like he even cares, like, let's be real. But, yeah, the Princess of Destiny. And now he's going to be talking about this stone. The stone that we're about to be getting is one of those quote-unquote keys that we're going to be needing, which is the Kokiri's Emerald. So, it's kind of cool. I actually kind of like the design on this. It's like a very, I wouldn't say elven, but like kind of a really traditional feely type of thing. I don't know. Weird way to explain it, but it's kind of cool looking. Let's just be real. Anyways, as I'm sure everyone has already kind of expected, the Deku Tree is going to die. So, fantastic way to start the game. I mean, especially considering we got rid of the curse, assuming that the Goma was actually the curse. If it wasn't the curse, or maybe we just got there too late, I don't know, but yeah. And the thing is, Navi's all excited to go to Hyrule Castle, and then she kind of says goodbye. Like, it's like she's happy that he's gone, and then suddenly she's very sad. So make up your mind, Navi. Like, what? I don't know. Anyways, now that we have control over the game, we're pretty much done for today. As you see in front of us, it was like a little bit of a thing there. Mito's kind of standing there to talk to us. We're going to end up missing that. We'll be able to still get the dialect. It's just that we have to kind of go and talk to him from the other side. Believe it or not, we're going to get teleported to that other side because of the way that the saving mechanic works in this game. So yeah, be sure to stay tuned for the next episode where we head out into the Hylian field. And we get, close, or we head towards the Hyrule Castle. So be sure to stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. And until next time, this is the PokeGamer, signing out.